black folks on the street. There was so many riots and so many attacks against the white supremacy, not just burning buildings. People were killing random white supremacists on the low, and they keep that real quiet. So the dominant society understood if we directly attack these people militarily, they're going to strike back against us. So we need to come up with more covert ways. We got to go to the drawing board. You understand? So for like a decade, they laid off direct attacks. This was why really in the 70s, you didn't hear about too many direct attacks against black folks until the late 70s. That's when the Klan started to reemerge, regroup, and these white supremacist groups started to organize. This is when David Duke started to rise up some. This is when the Klan got a new wind. The Klan started to get more sophisticated. This is when we started seeing things like the Atlanta child murders. There was a riot, not a riot, but there was an attack by white supremacists. I think this was in North Carolina when they killed a bunch of black folks. Right in the late 70s, early 80s. So they started to get their confidence back in the late 70s, early 80s. But, they still had to organize more because they couldn't do any direct attacks, because then, around in the 80s, you saw what happened down in Miami. You had that, the riot down in Miami where an officer killed a brother on a motorcycle, and then the brothers out there in Miami started snatching up people in the dominant society and murdering them. You understand? Yeah, so yes. A lot of blaxploitation movies did pacify to a certain degree. What was it about in the late 70s in particular? Well, what happened, the late 70s, you had a bunch of people who were really Vietnam vets. A lot of them were Vietnam vets. The Vietnam War was over like 1973, 74 officially. So you had all of these disgruntled white supremacists who were defeated in Korea, in Vietnam, I'm sorry. They were defeated in Vietnam, and they felt defeated here because now you had black people occupying all of these major cities. Got it? It was black people now living in all these major cities, and then you had a bunch of black mayors that started in the late 70s. And we're in the 70s period. LA got the first mayor, Tom Bradley. You had, who was the mayor of Detroit? Coleman Young. You had those type of people coming into position. I won't even say power, but being put in position. And many of the lower level white supremacists felt, well, damn, what's happening to our country now? We're being defeated abroad, and now we're being defeated at home. So then, in the 70s, you had, in the late 70s, and then you had Watergate. You had the Watergate scandal with Nixon being thrown out, and Nixon, he was a white supremacist, so he got thrown out. So you had people like Reagan starting to come into power in the late 70s, okay?
Reaganomics.
Harold Washington in Chicago, of course. You had black mayor in Cleveland. You had all of these black mayors being put into these major cities now. So white supremacists felt slighted. So then Reagan came along. Reagan was coming into power. Reagan was galvanizing the white supremacists using that dog whistle language. Look up Lee Atwater. He talked about how they had to use coded language. They had to redefine. They had to, this is very important, they had to refine themselves. White supremacy had to go through a refinement stage. So instead of being covert with their racism, they learned, okay, look, in order to keep a white supremacist agenda, we're going to have to use code words. And Lee Atwater said, and he was on video saying this in the early 80s, he was like, hey, Politics is different now. We can't say nigga, nigga, nigga no more. We got to use code words. We got to use shit like busing, taxes, lower crime, forced busing. We got to use stuff like that, which are code words for black folks. You dig? We got to use these code words, and all these words mean black people are going to come out on the short end. Black people are going to do worse than us. You know? So they had to galvanize and redefine their words and their language, and then get everybody white on that code. And this started in the late 70s. And then Ronald Reagan, he was using these code words like welfare queen. That was a code word for black women. He was using these terms, well, yeah, these welfare queens are milking the system, meaning us hard-working white people are working while these niggas are sitting up getting everything. So they were dog whistling the hell out of these little terms in the late 70s. All that talking, all that food stamp bullshit, when most of the food stamps is white people. So the late 70s had the David Dukes and all these people rising up, being more sophisticated. Then you had books like the Turner Diaries. These books came out in the late 70s. The Turner Diaries came out around 1978, again, giving white supremacists the blueprint on what to do. You understand? They start putting out literature telling them how to get on code, what to do. They started to define the narrative on their terms. You dig? And by this time, we're going into the late 70s, black people are getting comfortable with these token positions that a lot of black leadership is getting into, or just black representatives. A lot of us are getting very comfortable with that. So they wanted to come up with programs to kind of lull us to sleep. So while we're asleep, they stay awoke. They stay woke. The white supremacists are always woke. And understand, while Ronald Reagan was talking all that welfare queen, and also Ronald Reagan, he was the one who reversed a lot of the affirmative action things that helped black people. He reversed a lot of that in the 80s. That's why they love Ronald Reagan to this day. The so-called the so-called Republicans, and really a lot of white supremacists, they love Ronald Reagan. They love Ronald Reagan. Because Ronald Reagan did a lot of things to decimate black society. He helped bring those drugs in, bringing in that cocaine and all that stuff. So again, we got to understand when these people are dog whistling, we got to understand what they're doing. We got to be on our shit. But this is why it's very important for us to define what the narrative is, because what happens, people in the dominant society, they'll say stuff and then we'll just pick up on what they say and run with it, and we got to stop doing that. Power is all about defining your reality and also defining the reality of others. And you define reality by controlling the narrative and defining the definitions of things. You understand? Even with yourself, the way you view yourself and the way you define yourself is the way the dominant society is going to define you. It's the way society in general is going to define you.
Oh, wow, bro.
This is why black people, you're going to have to learn how to use words effectively. This is why we try to get black folks on code, and black people, we get too many black folks stuck on the dumb shit. But black people, your words and the way you define yourself, it starts there. Let's talk real. Can we talk some real talk tonight? Can we have real talk tonight? When I see a lot of rappers, let's use rappers for example. When you name yourself, that's a reflection of how you feel about yourself psychologically. You see a lot of rappers with names like Dusty Black and Old Dirty Negro. You know, rappers they'll have names defining themselves in a very derogatory way. They define themselves in a derogatory way. You know, it's always a mushmouth nigga with a name like MC Greasy Black. You know what I'm saying? And the way you define yourself is the way people are going to treat you. You know, there's a rapper named Crunchy Black. Lil this, Lil that, Young this, Young that. And when you call yourself little and young, and I'm not shitting on the rappers who are little and young, but you're putting yourself almost in a subordinate position. You're saying, I'm a child. I'm a baby. I'm young chicken McNugget. I'm little booty stain. You understand? You're putting yourself in a childlike subordinate position on a subconscious level. You understand? I mean, whether you know it or not, your name, the way you define yourself, is very powerful. And if you spit from a powerful position, people respect that. For example, look at some of the legendary rappers. Rakim Allah. Look at the legendary rappers. Rakim. That's a powerful name. It's an Islamic name. It's a Muslim name. At the time, when Rakim came out during the golden era, you know, you had MC Rock the Spot and MC this and MC that, but Rakim came out, my name is Rakim Allah. That's powerful. This is why Rakim still gets respect to this day. That's a legend. KRS-One. His name is Knowledge Reigns Supreme over nearly everyone. That's power. He came from an empowering standpoint. Queen Latifah. Big Daddy Kane. Not little, not young. I'm Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane is a legend today. Tupac. Now, Tupac's name used to be MC New York. Very typical. But when he said, no, I'm Tupac, that's powerful. Lord Jamar, the Brand Nubians. That's power. They get respect to this day. The way you speak your name is very important because that's how people are going to respect you. The Notorious Big, not Lil Biggie, not Lil Smalls. The Notorious Big. Grand Puba. I mean, Nasir. These names are very important. The way you define yourself is the way people are going to respect you. You dig? When you see niggas with names, and I'm not shitting on you, Lil Uzi, Young Thug, I ain't shitting on you, Young Thug. I'm just making a point here, brother, because I know you might be listening. But when you see cats with names like that, you're not shocked when you see them wearing dresses. You're not shocked when you see them on the album cover in a blouse and their stomach out. You're not shocked when you see dudes like that rocking that type of energy. You understand? I mean, Jay Prince. But the way you define yourself, it starts with yourself first. How do you define yourself? You understand? How do you define yourself? Even with your birth name, you can change your name. If your name is Eugene Jr., you might have, a lot of times when you come in the room, a lot of people are embarrassed by their birth name. You can change your name if you don't like it. I remember when I would go to the clubs back in the day when I was single, ready to mingle, ready to swing the dingle. I meet girls and they might be from a certain part of LA, certain part of the hood, and a lot of times they'd be embarrassed to say what their name is. Like, hey, what's your name? Shaquanda. You dig? A lot of women would be embarrassed. And there's some dudes who are embarrassed to say their name. Hey, when you meet a guy, hey, how you doing? What's your name? Freakwad. So, you know, a lot of cats ain't gonna say Freakwad with a lot of confidence. You dig? You can change your name if you want to. I always say, look, change your name. If your name doesn't give you the power you need, change your damn name. You can change it. You can change your name. You're not reserved to just having the same name. You change your goddamn name. Change it into something strong. Because they go out of their way to deceive you. Understand, warfare is deception. The white supremacists are waging warfare on you. So they're constantly trying to deceive you. And they're going to deceive you by using certain words that they say have a certain meaning, but they know what the real meaning is. So they start using words like, well, we're just going to do a little gentrification. Gentrification is basically white supremacy. We're going to move, as white people, we're going to move you out and we're going to move in. They use terms that confuse their victims. Segregation is a confusing term. They say, well, oh, look, we have segregation here. But to combat segregation, we're going to have integration. But you haven't really defined what segregation is. Segregation is really just white supremacy. Yeah, urban planning. All of these are terms for white supremacy. They love throwing out terms that are very confusing to black people. We think it means something else, and it means another. Minority is a very confusing term. I won't say confusing because the white supremacists are not confused by it. They use it to confuse their victims, black people. It's a deceptive term, but it's confusing to black people. When the white supremacists use the term minority, they know it's a trick word, and they have black people thinking, okay, well, they got a minority program, so that means me and other people of color are going to benefit. And the white supremacists are like, well, hell, we just redefine what a minority is. A minority is a white woman. A minority is a gay white man. A minority is a handicapped white man. A minority is a white man with 185th Native American. A minority is a white Hispanic. So when they give a minority program and all the money is funneled back to white society, we're sitting there like, damn, what happened? Well, hey, black, we gave you a minority program. Damn, come on. We just gave you a minority program and you didn't do anything with it. But damn, where's the money? We gave it to you minorities. Come on. Why don't you pull yourselves up by your bootstraps? And they're nudging each other like, got these stupid niggas again, didn't we? We got them again, didn't we? Because they can run that game on us when we are afraid to say what the fuck we need to be. Hey, where's the programs for black folks? Well, what about those Native Americans? What about them? I'm asking you about the programs for black people. Well, what about those Hispanics? I mean, they're minorities too. No. They can hold their own nuts. I want to know what's going on for black folks. I'm not a minority. I'm not a person of color. I'm black, so I need some shit for me. Well, that's reverse racism. You can't have reverse racism. You have corrective action against racism, and that's what these benefits are supposed to be for. But we're so afraid to say black. We're so afraid to do that, we let other people come in and rob us. and piggyback off of us. And you got to argue with Negroes. I got to argue with these NAACP Negroes who's out here campaigning and caping for Hispanics and Asians and all these other groups. You got to fight with the NAACP coons and the bedwenches and the Negroes at the root and all of these places who's trying to be on some intersectionality kumbaya coon brigade. You understand? And notice all these Negroes out here caping for these other groups. At the gay rights rally, all is the Negroes in the front row, in the Hispanic thing, the immigration thing, Negroes out there on the front line for that. A brother just got executed in front of his family down here in Florida, and they're not going to even punish the white supremacists who did it. This is the big story going on right now. Brother shot in cold blood down there in Clearwater, Florida, by a white supremacist who's not going to get charged. Where are all of these immigrant groups, Hispanic groups, the La Raza and all these people? Where are they? Where are these minority groups? Where are these gay groups that we're supposed to be all intersectionality up with? Where are they now? Have y'all heard anything? I haven't. I haven't heard anything from the gay groups, the intersectionality groups, the Hispanic, the Asians, the East Indians, the Native, all of these groups that we're supposed to be caping for and we're supposed to be intersectionality up with. I ain't heard shit from them on this brother getting shot in cold blood in front of his family. They ain't said a goddamn thing. They haven't said nothing. Crickets all day, nothing. And the minute one of them get hemmed up, oh, Lord Jesus, Lord, give me that sign, Lord. All lives matter. We jump up for these other damn groups. And they don't make a peep when we get injustices like this. You understand? This is why we're going to have to define the narrative and how shit is going to go down. This is why we're defining the narrative as you guys over there going to have to hold your own nuts. Well, I thought we were in this together. No.
I thought we did.
That's kind of messed up what you're going through, but you're going to have to handle that, brother. The Native Americans, come on, man, the pipeline, we need... Martin Luther King once said, we all in this together. Well, Martin Luther King got shot by white supremacists, so I'm good. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to handle that. You got to go on out there and hold your own nuts. You dig? We got to stop jumping in the forefront of everything when the gay rights groups and all that stuff pop up. Hey, come on, man, we need you to join the rally because Donald Trump is trying to reverse some of the progress that Obama made. Come on, man. You guys got to help. Being gay is just like being black, huh?
Whoa.
When were y'all Jim Crow? When are white gay people mass incarcerated? When did white gay people build up a country for 400 years and didn't even receive the benefits of that labor? How are we the same? What?
That's crazy talk.
Y'all gotta hold your own nuts.
Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out of that gay shit.
You gotta hold your own nuts.
I won't say all that, but yeah, that gay shit, no go, no bueno.
We're gonna have to define the narrative and not be afraid.
That's smart.
What they gonna do? They ain't supporting us anyway. What are black people afraid of now? Black people are afraid to tell motherfuckers no. What they gonna do? They ain't supporting you anyway. You ain't benefiting from none of them. You ain't benefiting from none of these groups, black folks. Let's just be real. You ain't benefiting from none of these groups. You ain't getting anything tangible out of them. So what are you going to lose by saying, no, I'm not really supporting your movement because I got my thing over here going on. So what am I supporting? I don't need to support you. You know what it is? You don't want to say no because you're going to miss out on some of that sex. You understand? You're going to miss out on some of that pink booty and pink balls.
Fags.
That's what you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out on some of them butter biscuit crumbs because approval from the dominant white society has been seen as currency to the Negro mind. We got to get that Negro mentality out of here. This is why they can come in and harm black people at will. And black folks do nothing about it. You understand? And speaking of my brother who got killed down there in Florida, in Clearwater, Florida, and I talked about this the other day on YouTube. The brother was coming out of a convenience store or a liquor store, whatever. And there was this white supremacist, Michael Drake or something like that, who was known in that area as a white supremacist. He's known to hang out at that particular store, racially antagonizing people. He was known for that. He's sat around that store calling black people niggas. He's threatened to shoot black people before. I think people have called the police on him, but nothing has been done about this dude. Nothing's been done about him. They let this dude terrorize the neighborhood. So he was waiting on an opportunity to kill a black person, and he got his opportunity. He was just trying to poke around and see if he can get the opportunity to provoke or to instigate an incident where he can kill a black person, and that's exactly what he did. And the race soldiers all got on code. The police chief down there, when he killed that black man, he started talking well, this is stand your ground. I mean, this is the stand your ground law. I mean, there's nothing I can do. I mean, we have to respect the law. That's bullshit. That's them trying to redefine the narrative. And we got to stop letting them define the narrative. Stand your ground is bullshit. Don't ever use that. Whenever they start killing black folks, notice they always take the focus off white supremacy, which is what this was. This was white supremacy. Don't let them start throwing out stand your ground law and all that, because what happens is we'll start focusing all of our energy to remove the stand your ground law. Man, we got to get rid of the stand your ground law. That's stand your ground law, man. We got to get rid of that. It ain't about stand your ground. It's the I'm white and I say so law. It ain't about stand your ground, because the law can be arbitrarily applied based on race. So it ain't about the damn law. It's about the white supremacist I'm white and I say so rule. Let's not even use the term stand your ground. Don't even use that term when you're talking about what happened. That was a white supremacist attack, and it was a white supremacist code they got on. You have to call it what it is. When you call something by name, you will come up with ways to deal with that thing. If you do any 12-step program, the first rule of addressing a problem is acknowledging the problem correctly. The problem is we won't acknowledge the problem correctly. The white supremacists throw out all these bullshit terms that they've defined, and then we try to define or rectify these bullshit terms, and we keep going back into the same circle. Let's go back to segregation. They told us, well, the problem in the 1950s and 60s is Jim Crow segregation. So what's the opposite of that? Integration. What the fuck is integration? What's integration? The problem wasn't that black people could go and drink from a water fountain. That wasn't the problem. The problem was there were resources and laws inflicted upon black people or deprived from black people based on race. That's white supremacy. So there's no such thing as integration or segregation. Those are terms that literally don't mean anything. So when they start talking about stand your ground, then we say, oh, we're gonna go fight to change that law. Then they come up with something else. They come up with laws. They make up laws out their ass. Stand your ground. Stop and frisk. You understand? Tuck and roll. They'll make up a law overnight. And it's the same damn thing. We got to address the root, not the leaves. The root of the problem is white supremacy. We got to address that. And we got to deal with white supremacy head on. And you deal with it first by naming it, calling it what it is. This is why I told you earlier, naming something, especially yourself, is the most important thing. So when they keep talking about this is the stand your ground law, or this is the stand your ground case, so we are not talking about the real problem, which is white supremacists getting on code. We're talking about stand your ground, and that's what the media is talking about, which is an empty-ass conversation. Remember when Trayvon Martin got killed? The whole conversation was about stand your ground, and that wasn't even really a stand your ground case, and they're talking about Skittles. It's the Skittles case. When that other kid got shot down there in Florida, Jordan Russell Davis, I think that's his name. Remember what the media was calling that? They called that the Thug Music Trial. Remember that? They were calling that the Thug Music Trial, where it was really about him having his music up too loud. No, it wasn't. You notice, see how they'll try to define what the real deal is? They'll redefine it. They will, yeah, they call it, yes, Google that. They were calling it the Thug Music Trial. Yeah, they got that dude in prison. They had to go through 2 trials to get that dude in prison. You dig? Because they were trying to get him off. They were trying to get him off. You dig? That's why the media was calling it that Thug Music Trial bullshit. They were trying to get the other white supremacists on code. You dig? That's what I say. Like, if you're going to use stand your ground, anytime you use stand your ground, even talk about it in terms of how black people can use it against white supremacists. That's how you talk about it. Don't talk about it. Remember, define the narrative yourself. Okay, you want to talk about stand your ground? Let's talk about it. So, is it legal for black people to stand their ground when white supremacists attack us? Are you saying that we should kill them? Is that the new law? Is that stand your ground? Let's get into question mode like Neely Fuller says. So, you said this brother pushed that white supremacist down and that was justification for him to be murdered? Okay. So when the white supremacists keep harassing us, which is why we're seeing videos every day of some random white supremacists going up to black families at swimming pools, black children, black people at the park, black people trying to barbecue. We're trying to live our lives, and random white supremacists are coming up to us in a very hostile manner. Some of them are even putting their hands on us. Based on your law now, we should kill them then, right? We're justified in killing them. Is that what you're saying with the stand your ground law? You reframe that narrative and you bring it back to you and how it's going to empower you. You understand? And if they say yes, that's okay. You can the law applies to you. Well, damn it, let's get it popping. Everybody, every Negro in Florida should be standing his damn ground. You should have stood your ground against that white supremacist when he was harassing people in the first place. You understand? We're going to have to redefine the narrative. Come here, Mama Peanut. It's locked. It's not locked. Hold on. Yo, hold on. Mama Peanut is at the door. Hold on. Mrs. called black people all types of shit, and they gave him a standing ovation in Milwaukee. Calling black people all types of niggas, yelling white power, doing all types of racist shit on Twitter. Are the boys sleep?
No, they...
You got in bed?
Yeah.
Oh. Mm-hmm. So where are you going, G?
You know where I'm going, and we're going to eat.
Oh, okay. You got on some side nigga cologne. I don't know what that smells.
This is not cologne.
A perfume. You got on some side nigga perfume. Side nigga by Liz Claiborne.
Ooh, it's hot as shit.
I know, it's hot as hell in
Yeah.
there. Man. There you go. I know.
What was that?
What they saying? They said she gonna be crispy. Are you serious? Alright.
On to eat crab. Represent.
Yes. Yeah. Y'all about to go to the crab place?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't go to the crab place. That crab is fucking up my gout.
His pants, they have raggedy pants on.
No, please. Man. Alright, I'll talk to you in a minute. Man. Man. But yeah, like I was saying, man, we have to be on code where we define the narratives of what's happening out here. And understand, we gotta be in a position where we start nipping things in the bud. Not only do we control the narrative, we got to control the actions. We gotta control the narratives, we gotta define the narratives, and we gotta control the actions. We gotta start playing chess. You dig? Because we ain't even on board right now. In certain places, like Florida, not only is Florida not taking the initiative against the white supremacists, even when the white supremacists strike, cats are just sitting on their ass. I had some people hit me up last night. They were talking about they're going to do a protest over at the store where the guy got shot. And let me say this. Black people, and I want y'all to listen, black people, if you're not going to challenge white supremacy every day, and I said this to a young lady on Twitter earlier, if you're not going to challenge white supremacy on a daily basis, you get up every day, no matter what you do, if you work at a job, or you're a basketball player, you do music or whatever, you can do all that shit, but still challenge the system of white supremacy. You can do it overtly, you can do it covertly, but you need to be in the mindset where you're trying to replace the system of white supremacy with the system of justice every single day. That should be the number one thought in your mind. Whatever you do, okay, am I going to be constructive? Like Neely Fuller said, is this going to be constructive or is it going to be non-constructive? You dig? Now, marching and protesting. You got to ask yourself, if I go down here in front of this store and march around in front of the campus, is that going to be constructive or non-constructive? And the last 50 years has told us protesting at a damn store is non-constructive. It just doesn't do anything. We're past that. I always tell black people, you got to envision yourself in Nazi Germany. Imagine if you were a black person, because the Nazis killed black people too. But imagine yourself being in Nazi Germany during World War II. You know what the Nazis are planning. You know what they're trying to do. Would protesting in front of a store in Nazi Germany, would that help anything? We're going to, yeah, they're putting us in ovens, but we're going to go protest. Because we got to understand, people, the white supremacists are in the millions in this country. And the white supremacists are on code. We think white supremacy, too many black folks think, when you think white supremacy, you think of a white extremist. Why? Because the white supremacists, they tell you that's what a white supremacist is. To the dominant society, a white supremacist is the alt-right Klan or somebody in a card-carrying white extremist group, or a white or a racist is a black person who don't like white supremacy. But nothing else to them, if you let them tell it, constitutes white supremacy. Now they know that's bullshit. They know that's bullshit. But understand, there's a reason why these millions of white supremacists around the country elected a white supremacist. They elected Trump. That lets you know who's in this country. In Milwaukee, last night they had a baseball game. Hader, what's that guy's name? Josh Hader, I think that's his name. He's a baseball player, white supremacist baseball player. He had some tweets some years back calling black people all types of niggas. Shout out to you, Brenda. He was calling black people all types of niggas, yelling white power, doing all types of racist shit on Twitter. His tweets were outed. He apologized, which meant nothing. Talking about he was young at the time. The white supremacists always use that. Yeah, Josh Hader. So his racist, anti-black tweets came to light. What's up, Arden Plumbing? Much respect, brother. Shout out to you. I wish you were out here, brother, to come out here and do some work on my plumbing, because these guys out here ain't shit. But Josh showed up at the Brewers game last night, and all the suspected white supremacists gave him a standing ovation. When his racist tweets came to light, they stood up and gave him a standing ovation. All the white supremacist suspects out there in Milwaukee. You understand? What they were saying is, hey, you're on our team, buddy. What they were saying to him, and these are the same people who boo black players for standing up against racism. Understand? These same people are calling black football players all types of sons of bitches and all this for standing up against racism. They're shunning these athletes. But this white dude, white supremacists, called black people all types of shit, and they gave him a standing ovation in Milwaukee. Now you understand why Sheriff Clark was the sheriff out there for so long. Now you see. And Milwaukee and Wisconsin has a lot of white supremacist groups up there. One of the most racially segregated states, by the way. But these are the people in the dominant society. That's what you have. So when you're protesting, understand those are the people you're protesting to. Now, Hulk Hogan, now he was calling black people all types of niggas, and he was shunned for a minute. But now, again, remember, white supremacy, the white supremacists don't get fired, they get transferred. He's getting back into the WWE. They're putting him back in the Hall of Fame. They're going to bring him back out, and watch the response he gets from all the white supremacist suspects. They don't get fired. They just get transferred. Yeah, Sheriff Clark taking that Russian money. So, yeah, they didn't pull his coon card. They're about to throw him under the bus. No. But there's some dudes who are bad to say their name. Taking that Russian money. We got to understand, they don't get fired. They didn't pull his coon card. They only get transferred. They only get transferred. And when you're protesting society in Birmingham, these are the people you're protesting to. This is why it's completely useless. This is what are they going to do? You think, who are you protesting to? Protesting is begging. Do you understand that? Protesting, when you go out there protesting, all you're doing is begging the white supremacists to not harm you. That's what a protest is. You're saying to them, please, can you leave me alone? Please, can somebody white come help me? That's what protesting is. When you go out here, please, can y'all not be so hard on us? That's not going to work, man. That's not going to work at all. You're going to have to start handling things from a position of strength. You understand? You're trying to ask a bully to stop. We've been doing that for too long. They ain't going to stop. You're going to have to stop them. You understand? This right here. This is one of my favorite books that's out right now. It's a short book. This book is like, what, 100 and something pages? Yeah, it's a short book, but it's a very powerful book. I've been promoting this book heavy. We've been promoting it on the show. I love this book. This is one of my favorite books. There's a couple of my favorite books now. This is Darlene's. Her book is very good. Shout out to Darlene. Because I'm a hip hop fan, and this sister, she's breaking down this Ice-T's ex-lady, and Darlene break down a lot of stuff from LA hip hop. Another book that's good, my man Dame Dash, Culture Vultures. These are books that I'm rocking with now. My man Dame Dash and my brother Kenyatta, they wrote this book. This is Culture Vultures. So these are the books that I'm rocking now. This one right here, Avoid the Machines, man. This is like required reading right here. This is required reading, Avoid the Machines. It's a novel about a futuristic story about this, you get on Barnes & Nobles, by the way, about how black people were put into, like, townships, and a small group of black people got together and started a revolution. Real heavy book. Real heavy book. Avoid the Machines. You can get it on Barnes & Nobles and on Amazon, too. But is it on? I don't know if it's on Kindle or not. I don't know if it's on Kindle. But the thing is,
this white put a bullet in his head.
We gotta understand warfare. Yeah, the book is Avoid the Machines. It's talking about it's a real deep book on guerrilla warfare tactics. Real good book. Real heavy book. And yeah, Jay Prince's book was good. I like Jay Prince's book. His book was real good. I just read that one too. I'm gonna have to have Darlene on ISM too. I gotta get Darlene. I gotta get Zoe on there too. But yeah, I gotta have Darlene on ISM Radio because I've been wanting her. Because I'm a big fan of the hip hop era, the early hip hop, and she talks a lot about early hip hop of LA in her book, and it's a very good book about her life. But we got to understand that being in a position where we're reactive to the white supremacists, we got to re-strategize, because we are reacting to the things that they define. They define things, and then we react to their definitions of things. We gotta take a preemptive approach to dealing with white supremacy. You understand? This is why we have to initiate. Yeah. Good book, very good book. AW, I might have to do that. But as far as protests, that's just not working. That's just not going to work. And at this point, because, and let me talk about some things that black folks need to do on some urban survival thing. And another thing too, I started a Facebook group called the Melanoid 300. I started a Facebook group, and it's super exclusive. We only have a few people in there now, only a handful, because I'm handpicking all the people that's going to be a part of this group. I'm handpicking the people. And I want my lawyers to hit me up, because I want to add you to the group. I want my lawyers. And also, I want people, I'm calling it Melanoid 300, because I want the only people that's going to be invited in that group, and it's a very private group, are people that's been rocking with me for a long time. Generally, a lot of people who've been around for a minute, most likely you can get in easy. I want people who've been around for a while. Particularly the people, if you were people who contributed to Hidden Colors 1, most likely you can just get a fast pass in there. If you are here and you contribute, because I'm only going to have 300 people in there. It's not going to be it's not going to be a bunch of folks. I'm only going to have 300 folks in there. That's all I want. That's why I'm handpicking people right now. If you've been around for at least 5 years, or if you have contributed to Hidden Colors 1, which was damn near 10 years ago, if you contributed to Hidden Colors 1, you got to hit me up. And plus, I'm screening people. I got to get you. If you're a lawyer, hit me up, email me, info@tariqelite.com. This is going to be like a think tank strategizing. And it's going to be exclusive, very private. And if I know you, the people, there's only a handful of people in there now that I personally know. You understand? And I'm vetting them. There's one cat that I let in. I had to delete him because, and I forgot, his name started with a J. He's been around for a minute, but I let him in the room. And then he started inviting a whole bunch of other people that I didn't know. So I deleted him. And I deleted everybody that he invited. I deleted everybody. Not, brother, I know you're probably listening. Not personal. Not personal at all, brother. But I'm dead serious about this thing. I don't want people in there that I don't know. I do not want people in there that I don't know. I'm not just indiscriminately adding people in the room. You know, I want some people that I know, people that I've screened. I'm going to have to screen you personally. It's only going to be 300 people in there. That's it. And you got to email me. You got to email me. If you are new, you just came around and you can't get in it. No disrespect. This is not personal. I'm really, really particular about who's going to be in this room. See, it's not private. I mean, you know, we ain't going to talk crazy, but it's just something that, you know, I want a small group of thinkers to be a part of. This is why I got to talk to you and correspond with you personally. And if you've been around, I want lawyers, people who we can talk law with. I want my military cats. I want my military cats in here. Email me. I want my business owners. Been around for a minute. Been around since 2014. Holla at me. All my mods, they can get it.